Welcome back to the CineFiles. I'm a little sluggish because I've been up all night doing 3D freaking rendering. Plus, had a few mishaps this morning, so I scrambled to get this all set up. Today's topic, we haven't done a topic like this in a while. We kind of do these like rant topics. We used to do a lot in the old days, and Andre came up with the idea, right? Actors that show promise, but what happened to them? You know, that kind of thing. So, I don't know, what do we want to title this show? Actors that could have been?
I could have been a contender.
Yeah. I could have been a contender? Okay, we'll call it I could have been a contender. Actors, actresses that came on the scene, showed a lot of promise, and then disappeared. So, anyways, before we get into it, here are my co-hosts. Andre Joseph joins us yet again. And we have Dapper Jeff Galashaw with us.
Hello.
And we're all drinking coffee, but we got an alcoholic in our midst. He's already started on the cider, and it's not even lunchtime yet. That's okay. We'll probably be partaking later, too. Where to begin on this? I mean, there's the obvious ones like, Nicolas Cage. What happened to Nicolas Cage?
Hey,
he had a long, successful career before he
he has a star on the Walk of Fame.
But when I think of people, I think of like, what's her name that was in Ghost World?
So you already forgot. Thora Birch.
Thora Birch, right? What happened to Thora Birch? Because she was primed to be
actually, there have
major
been
contender.
Many articles written about that. Some say it was her father who was like more of a hands-on stage father, for her later career. Some say, she just started being very unpredictable because she was also supposed to do, I think, a Broadway play, and then she dropped out last minute. I don't really know the official reasoning. I mean, she was a good actress because if you look at her career, she started as a child actress. She had Ghost World and American Beauty, that double-decker, and then, she kind of like let...
And then she wound up in this commercial for, the commercial where she's on a subway. Yeah, have you ever seen that?
No, I'm like, I know Katherine Heigl.
I think it was for like gum or breath freshener or something like that. Yeah, it's like this really weird left thing. But yeah, Thora Birch was in this commercial.
Also Wes Bentley, who was in American Beauty, he had a long period after American Beauty of trying to come back, but he at least admitted he had a drug addiction. That's why it took him so long.
I don't know if he's having a comeback, but he's getting work.
Yeah, he was in the
he
first
is getting consistent work.
Movie.
Yeah, he was in the first Hunger Games movie. He was in something else too. He was
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider, right? That's right. He was in Ghost Rider.
Like him, I probably would rather forget that.
Yeah.
And the reason why I brought up Thora Birch is like I was searching for a name, and we have an Enid doll up on our shelf behind the cameras here.
I used to mix her up with Anna Paquin all the time.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
The other chick in Monkey
It's
Trouble.
funny you mentioned that. I used to confuse her with another actress who was on TV a lot. She's a daughter of the guy that was in Twin Peaks and was also in West Side Story.
Oh, Amber Tamblyn.
Amber Tamblyn. I used to get Amber Tamblyn confused with Thora
How could you?
Birch.
She was Joan of Arcadia.
Similar.
She is married to David Cross.
There are types out there, and I get the types crossed and confused.
I'm sure she took that as a comment. I'm a Thora Birch / Anna Paquin type.
But did we think that she was? I mean, I thought she was a good actress.
I had no
She's
problems with
excellent
her.
in Ghost World. I mean, Ghost
She
World
was good in that movie. He brought up Monkey Trouble, which I totally forgot about. I don't
think I've seen Monkey Trouble.
Yeah, Harvey Keitel was the bad guy.
As a gypsy.
Gypsy.
With a
You're
monkey.
after Bad Lieutenant.
Right.
Oh, geez.
Well, there you go.
We all have to work.
I have no idea what's going on here, folks. I think we're still not. The coffee still hasn't kicked in yet. So Thora Birch.
American Beauty. She'll always have American Beauty and Ghost World.
American Beauty, yeah, and Ghost World. That's right. She was in American Beauty. See, I even forgot that.
And she was in a really weird remake of Terror Train that went straight to home video.
Oh, that's right. She was in that. Yeah, she did a couple of straight-to-video horror films, didn't she?
That's the only one I remember seeing her in.
Don't know. Who else? We were bringing up names before we started cameras rolling.
Well, there's plenty, but I'll take Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell?
I agree.
Here was a guy who had so much promise when he first started, and he admitted he had a substance abuse and an alcoholism problem, which is why he started taking anything that was handed to him. But it was very rare that you actually saw the talent that was in Tigerland, the raw talent that he actually had. And unfortunately, he started making a comeback, but it was in all these remakes of good films, and these were kind of subpar. You had the remake of Fright Night. You had the remake of
Miami Vice, which I will never forgive him for.
Okay, I don't blame him for Miami Vice. I actually wanted to see.
You really didn't like Miami Vice.
He
You just
was-
thought Miami
See,
Vice
I have
was
no problem with that movie.
You got Michael Mann directing this, who was like part of the creation of the series.
Right.
You're trying to like recreate the magic that Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas had with that show. And granted, it wasn't a great show, but for that time, it's a quintessential 80s series. So how you get Jamie Foxx to pair up with Colin Farrell, and they're trying to make it more grounded and more real, and they're acting like freaking Marines instead of actual vice cops going after drug dealers in Miami.
Well, I actually saw Colin Farrell as more of a redneck than a Marine. I saw Jamie Foxx as a
porn
Marine.
mustache.
That's why I kept thinking throughout the film, Matthew McConaughey would have been perfect.
Well, this
in
is the
whole
thing.
role.
I'm not going to make this about a Miami Vice show. I understand the criticism. I didn't mind Miami Vice. It's not my favorite Michael Mann film by a long shot. I think it's just not very memorable. It's just like you watch it and that's it. You
It's
kind
very
of
sluggish.
forget about it. It's very sluggish. My thing about Colin Farrell is this. It's not that Colin Farrell is not a good actor.
No,
He has presence. He has something. There's been roles that I've seen him where, like, I thought he was great in the Fright Night remake.
He was the best actor in Daredevil.
You
And
know,
that's saying a lot.
Well, he was a lot of fun in Daredevil. But the thing with Colin Farrell, though, and I hate to get into like slanderous gossip, but he does come across as that guy who must have slept with all the right people and therefore was in everything because of it. Because the Miami Vice thing, it was like, oh yeah, let's get Colin Farrell. You know, everything during that, almost every film during that period of time was, let's just get Colin Farrell.
Well, he was the hot guy. It's sort of like...
Right, and it kind of burned out. I mean, I think people got burned out on Colin Farrell. He was in fucking everything.
Well, it's sort of kind of like what Channing Tatum might
Minority
be going through
Report,
right now.
Phone Booth.
Hey,
Miami Vice.
Minority
Total
Report.
Recall.
Hey, Minority Report. Well, that was late. Minority Report. He was a last-minute replacement for Matt Damon.
Right.
So that's the only one I can depend. Phone Booth, that went through how many stars before they finally went to Colin Farrell? Because it was Will Smith, Jim Carrey, all of them were supposed to star it before.
But he is amazing in Bruges.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
fantastic performance. He's pretty good in Seven Psychopaths, but I had issues with that film. Val Kilmer. I mean, he had a career.
He
and
has a career still.
it's like
Wow.
the guy.
Playing Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
I like Val Kilmer. I mean, I've never had to work with him, so I don't have a problem with him. I mean, I will always love him for real.
But the opportunities did arise for you to work with him, right?
Of course,
Is that
all
what-
the times. You know how many times he's called to be interviewed on this show, and I had to say, stop calling
Like you
me
live in a
Val."
world where the chances are Jeff Galashaw will work with Val Kilmer.
Exactly. We're on Bad Lieutenant 2, Port of Call, New Orleans, Part 2.
I have a huge pet peeve of Katherine Heigl. Now here's somebody
Who doesn't?
Look, she's
Her
That's-
husband doesn't.
That's.
I mean, look, she was like a kind of a big TV star with Roswell.
It's
Grey's
like
Anatomy,
saying
and-
Hitler was an evil guy. I mean, who doesn't have a pet peeve over Katherine Heigl?
I mean, look, it's hard for actors to get like that one big break in movies to transition them from.
Yes, but she
television to
complained
film.
about every break she got.
But look, come on, Knocked Up was a big hit. You know, made Seth Rogen's career. She was like, what, a last-minute replacement for Anne Hathaway.
Mm.
And I wouldn't say her performance was memorable, but it worked for the context of that
It
film.
was decent.
Then suddenly she becomes the next Julia Roberts. And, like, you get 27 Dresses and Killers and all these other, you know, chick flicks. And now her career's so crappy right now, she might be back on television anytime soon.
Well, she is. If you watch those nighttime Z medicine commercials, that's her.
I don't know what you're talking about. But I was going to say
you seen a Thora Birch gum
but
commercial.
she was established. I mean, she was a star before she did Knocked Up.
Yeah,
I mean,
she
you
had-
get Grey's
Right.
Anatomy.
Under
She's a very
Siege
popular
star.
character.
Under Siege 2,
Oh,
my father.
Stop it with the Under Siege 2.
Hey, no one will forget Under Siege Part 2.
That was pre-Katherine Heigl.